of your time. Welcome to our new arts provider orientation. There will be plenty time for questions at the end, but if there's something that you don't want to forget, feel free to drop it in the chat and we'll get around to it. Sounds good? Awesome. All right, so we're going to introduce all of our staff members. I'll start. I am Kimberly Cowell. I am the program coordinator. Kick it over to Ree.
Now that I've unmuted, hi, I'm Ree Poirier Campbell. I'm the executive director. Emily?
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Wineski, and I am the programming director. And Sarah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Asmar. I'm the advancement director.
And Colleen, who is not here with us currently, is the finance manager. Next slide, please. All right, so we want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves to not only us and the rest of our team, but the new artists that are in the room as well. So one by one, if you want to take yourself off mute and tell us your name, your program title, and your art form. Anyone.
Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Moran. I work at the Connecticut Museum of Culture and History. I guess that's the art form, History and Social Studies. And I'm here with my colleague, Rebecca, who I'll invite to speak next.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Gross. I'm the Education Department Coordinator at the Connecticut Museum of Culture and History. And I do all of the scheduling of our programs that we're going to be offering, and they're all civics programs.
Thank you. Nzima? Thank you. Here.
Yes, hi. So my name is Enzima Hutchings, and my program title is Poetic Art in Sight Words, and the art form is poetry.
Thank you. We do have a couple more people that will be coming, but we are going to keep it moving for the time being. So our agenda, as we just did the welcome and introductions, we will be talking also about what Hartford Performs is and what Hartford Performs does. So you'll get that overview. We'll also be talking about what you can expect during the school year, the requirements and next steps. And again, we'll get to questions after. I will kick it over to Ree to talk about who we are as an organization.
Thanks, Kimberly. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background about who we are and how we came to be, and which will give you some insight into why we do things the way we do. So Emily, if you could hit the next slide, please. So we started in 2009. Now, there have always been teaching artists into Hartford Public Schools, and kids have always gone out to cultural organizations for field trips, but they haven't always been connected to learning, and they haven't always been for all kids. You might have a teacher who knew how to make it work, and you might have other teachers who didn't. So some kids got it, some kids didn't. Sometimes it was just fun, and sometimes it was very much connected to learning. And in 2009, the district stepped back and said, we really need to focus all our school time on things that will help kids learn and develop. So let's step back and let's take a look at how the arts are being used in the Hartford Public Schools. So they did a study called State of the Arts in Hartford Public Schools, and they looked at community arts, they looked at arts by certified arts teachers, they looked at what kids were getting, and out of that, they decided to create an organization, which is Hartford Performs, that would aggregate and focus the cultural assets of our community on the needs and the learning needs specifically of Hartford Public School kids. And so that everything we do had to be tied to learning and development in the school day. So Emily, you want to next slide, please? So this is our mission today. And what we do is we inject arts into the school day, but in really specific ways. It has to enrich student learning, and it has to improve outcomes. And the outcomes are really important. So we measure everything that we do. you will find that we have evaluation programs for all of our programs because, we're in the schools. We need to get a report card. And that is something that's required by the school district of us, and that's required by a lot of our funders as well. So we have to prove that we really are helping kids to learn and helping kids develop in specific ways. Next slide, please. So what we believe is, and not just us, but this is an idea that we're really trying to promote. So kids benefit most when they get arts in at least these three areas. They need their certified arts teachers who teach them, drawing and music and that basic arts instruction. And that needs to come from certified arts teachers, and that is critical. We never want to take the place of that. They also need, because kids learn in different ways, and not everybody just learns by paper and pencil, they also need their regular classes, their English classes and their social studies classes and math to have arts components to them, because sometimes that's how kids learn best, by acting out, by dancing, by moving, by drawing. So they need that art component as part of that learning. And they also need to be connected to the community through community teaching artists and arts organizations. And that's your part of it. And all of those things we need all three parts of those in order to have kids have really substantial arts-based learning that helps them grow. Next slide, please. So this past year, we have a number of different kind of programs, but the group that you're going into is our roster of traditional programs. And in the last year, we completed 549 programs in 27 schools for more than 10,000 kids by 66 teaching artists. And we did more than 2,000 hours worth of programming, just of our traditional programs. And that's more than 11 and a half hours for every single school day. So we do a lot of this stuff. And this is what you're going to be contributing to. And we're really excited to have you as part of that. Next slide. So we do, in addition to our traditional programs, our student programs, we also have professional learning for teachers. We have professional learning for teaching artists, and this is one of those things. And we do a lot of family engagement events. Next slide, please. And so all of those pieces together, the core of what we're driving at is the students. We have no confusion about who our customer is. Our customer is the students. So everything we do is directed toward the kids, aimed toward the kids, and to make their learning better. That is our mission. We don't work for the schools. We don't work for the teaching artists. We work for the kids. And so that's what you're going to hear from us beginning to end. And I will end there. If you have questions about this, you can put them in the chat, or we can circle around to them at the end. But I'm going to ask Emily or Kimberly next. Emily.
Thanks, Ray. I think it's helpful always to have a good overview and understanding of where we're coming and where we're going and how you contribute to that. So like we said, you're joining our traditional roster programs. All of you participated in the same application process. Your programs were reviewed by a committee of teachers with some very specific criteria on what we're looking for. And all of our programs are connected to core instruction, Common Core state standards, and national core arts standards, which gives us allows us to advocate and be part of the school day, part of Hartford Public School students' school day. So we are so excited to have you joining our roster, filling out this rich array of arts and cultural experiences within Hartford and greater Hartford area for Hartford students. So now I'm getting into kind of the nitty-gritty main details. There is a slight quiz that's going to be fun, but maybe absorb some things as I'm going through these next slides. So we have an online roster. This displays all of our traditional arts integrated programming. Every program on this roster has gone through the same application process that you went through. We offer programs from pre-K all the way to 8th grade. We hope to expand into high school. We hope that you can join us on that journey, and that happens soon. But this roster is available online. Anybody can look at it. Teachers don't need to log in to access and look at what's displayed for the current school year. The roster is your marketing tool. We are not booking agents for your programs. The roster provides a very kind of equal playing ground for all programming so that teachers can search and select and look for programming that's going to be interesting, relevant, and appropriate for what their students are learning at that time. So certainly images and titles are going to work to your advantage, as well as your program descriptions should be marketed with the teacher in mind. The teacher is looking at this roster to make their selections. So in September, all teachers, you look at the roster, they have filters and ways to narrow down choices, whether they want to be in school or off-site or a combination of the two, whether they're looking for a hands-on workshop or a performance or a short-term residency. They can also filter by curriculum focus or art form. All of this selection happens in the month of September at every school that we collaborate with. Teachers select their programs for an entire grade level. So say third grade has 3 teachers and 3 different classrooms of 20 students each. Those 3 teachers will get together, search through the roster together, and make their selections as a group. So each program is going to serve that entire third grade. So all 60 students. We budget based off of enrollment, and every grade level has $20 per grade level to select programs from the roster. The programs on our roster range from $0 to $5 to $10. So at minimum, every single grade level gets at least 2 program selections. We have very savvy shoppers, and we have some grade levels that select 4 $5 programs, and then they do a search of all the free programs. And we have some grade levels that have up to 7 or 8 programs per year. But that it really is student and teacher driven in the selections. Because of that, there is not a guarantee that your program will be selected. So I will say that you're all new, and new images are going to catch teachers' eyes. New titles are going to catch teachers' eyes. So that definitely is going to work to your advantage. We'll also promote you to our school site coordinators, who are our point person at each school. But again, we're not your booking agent, so there's not a guarantee that your program will be selected. You should know all of your bookings for the entire school year by the end of October, is kind of a safe benchmark to know. So all school selections happen in September. By October, you're going to get a booking confirmation. I'll show you an example of that. And then you work with the teacher to schedule, and we'll get to that detail in a minute. And this last note here is that Hartford Performs pays for a minimum of 40 students. So if there are grade levels that have under 40 students, we pay for a minimum of 40 students. If there's questions about payments, please jot them down or put them in the chat, and we can circle back to that. Okay, here is an example of a booking confirmation email. So when a grade level of teachers selects your program, you will immediately receive a booking confirmation email. This email has some very important features to it. First is the voucher number. This is your confirmation. This voucher number is going to be tied to this booking and will follow you all the way through to the payment process. If a teacher comes up to you and says, "Oh, we love you, we want to have you," you need to say you need to go through Hartford Performs. We need a voucher number in order to complete that payment process. This voucher also shows you the school that's booking you and their school address. You also have the lead teacher's name here. So Beth Doyle in 1st grade is a lead teacher at Kennelly School. And you can see that there are 60 students in 3 different classrooms in 1st grade. And she also provided, this is awesome, this is like superstar teacher, also provided some additional notes to let you know how the classes are divided and what the best timeframes are for this program to happen. You also have your quoted amount in the booking confirmation email. So at minimum, you're going to receive that amount. Again, that's based on the student enrollment. This is a $5 program. And then the teachers also are providing 2 proposed dates when this scheduled program could happen. So very easy for you now to follow up with Beth Doyle and say, May 17th at 11:30 a.m. works great for us. And that really speeds up and helps this confirmation process, scheduling process from booking to the program happening. This booking information can also be found when you log into the database. So you as an artist have a unique login with your email address, and then you can reset that password. When you go onto your dashboard, you're going to see the booking voucher number. You can click on this bookings detail, and then this box is going to pop open with all of that same information that was in that booking confirmation. There's also an option to download a CSV report to see all of your bookings that you receive kind of on one Excel sheet, if that is useful to you. Am I going too fast or are we good? I'll just do a check-in. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I need to slow down. Okay, I'm seeing thumbs up. Okay. So once you receive the booking confirmation and you see some proposed dates, your next job is to reach out to that lead teacher by phone or by email and to confirm the scheduled date. Keep in mind that teachers are busy. Please reply back to teachers in a timely manner and keep communication clear and concise is always best practice. If a lead teacher is not as responsive within a couple of business days or a week getting back to you, you can copy the school site coordinator. That's our school point person. That's a designated Hartford Performs coordinator, and they should be able to help you connect with the lead teacher to schedule that program. And also you can add Hartford Performs in that loop if you're having difficulty with communicating. So once you confirm the scheduled date, you're going to log back into our database and you're going to enter that date into those booking details. There's a little bar that adds a date. You can even add some notes and check a box that will send an email to the lead teacher and site coordinator about the date and any notes. This date and entering this date into the database is very important part of the payment process, which I'm going to talk about in a few slides. But again, this is your job to confirm your date in the database. If you are a $0 program, we still need you to enter in a date into the database. That also lets Hartford Performs know when programs are happening so that we can come out and observe programming. And it also helps us measure programs booked versus programs completed. And so we want to have that count both for programs that we're paying for and programs that are $0 for Hartford students. Okay, let me take a sip of water. All right, so week of, day of program. Best practice is to send a reminder to the lead teacher that you're coming and remind them of the scheduled date. You want to confirm the school address and give yourself plenty of time to travel and park if you're delivering your program at a school. Hartford schools are unique and in a variety of locations, and their parking is often a puzzle in itself to figure out where you're supposed to go, or finding the main entrance is also a puzzle. So first time out, first time to a school, give yourself plenty of time. You're going to sign in at the front desk, and you will need an ID, and most likely you'll get a sticker of your ID to identify you as being a visitor to that building. You're going to deliver your program to the full grade level, and then you're going to complete your payment voucher online. And then we'll talk about that process in a minute. Before I do, some safety protocols when you're delivering your program. For the safety of our students, taking photos that identify student faces or student names cannot be taken or posted publicly without parent or guardian consent. We do not collect that. The school does collect that, and so a teacher could take photos of your program and share them with you. The teacher would know which students have permission or not, but I highly recommend not taking photos of students on your own devices. You can, however, take photos of student-created work as long as their names aren't on it. And we love that. We love images of student work. A teacher, a substitute, or a school staff person must be present at all times when you are leading a program. This is very important as we are delivering programs during the school day, that a school staff person needs to be in the room with you. That's not their break. The teachers should know that. They should be in the room with you. If they do happen to leave, you should notify somebody, call the main office, make sure that a school staff person is with you in the room. And finally, your safety is important, and the safety of the students is important. If that is ever in question, you have every right to stop the program. Don't believe you should compromise the quality of your program if you feel like it's not going to advance forward successfully due to a number of circumstances that could potentially happen in a school. So we, Hartford Performs, trust you in joining on our roster to make that call, and then you can notify us after of what the situation was. I'm not saying this to scare you, just to let you know that you have the rights on your side. We're not going to question your decision-making in that situation. Okay, it's an important slide. How programs are paid. So that schedule date that I said, entering that into the database is very important because it prompts the payment voucher or the program completed voucher. If you're a $0 program, it will get generated ideally on the morning of your program or within 24 hours of your program scheduled date. You are the first in the line of verifying the voucher. So it'll ask you to log into the database and answer some questions. Did the program happen? Was this the number of students? Is this where we're sending payment? And then you click submit. Very straightforward. The voucher then travels to the school site coordinator, who signs off on the voucher stating, yep, you were here. Yep, that was the number of students that are in that grade level. And then they submit it to Hartford Performs. We then review the vouchers to make sure the information matches, or we follow up if we have a question about anything. Excuse me. And then finally, the voucher goes to finance to get cut for checks or run direct deposit. And that process happens twice a month. So payment goes out to artists twice a month. And finally, like Reese said, all of our programs are evaluated. Actually, the voucher system prompts the survey. So once we know that a program has been completed, the lead teacher receives an email with a survey link. And we ask a number of questions around measurable data on outcomes, feedback about the program. We ask for student work and images, through this survey. Hartford Performs uses the data in the survey for a million different things. It's to inform our programming, it's to report out to our funders for grants, and also provide the district reporting on outcomes and impact of our program on the students. And this is one word cloud, one question, example of a question that we ask. What aspects, we ask teachers specifically, what aspects of the program did you find to be the most valuable for your students? And this is a word cloud. I don't know if you know how those work, but the largest word is the one that's most repeated in responses. I love that students is the biggest. So teachers are selecting and finding impact and value for their students most. But a lot of words that draw me in here are creating, experiences, activities, engaging, interactive, exposure, and enjoyment. All right. I know that was a lot, but I'm going to pass it now to Kimberly and advance the slide.
Emily. We want to talk a little bit about roles and responsibilities going through the year. We noticed some things that might trip up teaching artists or just miscommunications that happen between teaching artists and teachers. And so we kind of want to equip you with just some best practices as far as, you know, what you need to get started. There are going to be things that you realize on your own, and you're going to be able to tweak your process accordingly. But these are what we kind of outlined for you. Prompt communication with Hartford Performs team and the site coordinator or school contact. Have booking and contact information available in the event of unexpected situations. So this means letting us know if you have an emergency, letting the site coordinators or the school know primarily if you're not going to make it, if you're going to be running late, and then also letting us know just so we can be aware. Because if you're running late and they're expecting you and they don't hear from you, they're going to contact us, and if we don't know yet, then there's going to be phone tag and all of that. So to prevent that, if you see the site coordinator contact information in the booking, if there's a phone number, save the phone number to your cell phone so that if you're in traffic and you need to make a quick call, you can do that without having to go back into your email or go back into the database to find that information. It kind of just mitigates a lot if you have that on hand. Deliver your program as stated on the roster. You do the preliminary work, you do the preparation for a reason. If you are tweaking anything based on the student and the teacher's need in the moment, that's one thing. But keep it as close to your program description as you possibly can. If there is any deviation, also make that known in the voucher when that's passed through. Just we want the teachers to get what they're expecting. So again, unless this is a conversation that's had with a teacher or with a Hartford Performs staff, keep your delivery as close to what is outlined in your program as possible. Arrive early and prepared with all necessary material. It seems like a no-brainer, but there are days when the going gets going and you don't know where your mind is. Trust me, I have more of those days than I care to count. But when you prep yourself, you know exactly what you need. You have everything on hand. You keep everything you need in your vehicle or wherever. It makes everything a little bit easier. And then arriving early, kind of just, again, of the parking situations, you're not necessarily sure unless you've been to a school before what you're going into. You don't know what the traffic is like around the area. So giving yourself extra time so that you can be present on time and you can be just coordinated and sorted, and you can present yourself as best as possible, because presenting yourself well to teachers is what gets you invited back, and is what gets you invited to those off-roster programs that we discussed a little bit earlier. Also, leave well. So schools are chaotic. We all know that. The students get really excited when they have special programming. And so teachers have a really rough time trying to rein the students back in after. So to help them, you can let them know just with clear directions that you're like, it's your time to go, you're packing up, and that you are giving the control of the classroom back over to the teacher. So it helps them get, transition from your program to whatever they have next. It's a full school day. Um, Based on whatever time you arrive, they have classes before that, they have classes after. There's transitions all over the place. So to help that, make sure your program ends in a timely way so that you're not spilling over into what's next and complicating their already complicated day. Come with a flexible attitude and anticipate the unexpected. That's a no-brainer. Understand that it's a full school day and teachers are busy. Teachers are busy. Outside of your program, there might be like an issue with a student. Maybe someone's misbehaving or someone's having an off day and the teacher is overloaded already. You don't want to come right on time for your program and then have questions while the teacher should, be able to like step aside within the classroom, but to deal with whatever else. So if that flexibility will help you to, see what's happening and offer what they need. Like even in your timeline, let's say your timeline is to jump right into the program, but that you see the students, they're having like a moment. And instead of just jumping right into your instruction, you may be able to just do a little bit of meditative moment and get them, give them time to center themselves before jumping in. So that flexibility with your programming helps you to see what the need is in the moment and answer that call in the moment. And again, you're not deviating fully from your program. You're just seeing what would be helpful in the moment, both for the teachers, the students, and for you, for what can help you execute your program in the best way possible, given the circumstances that you're presented with in the moment. And that's going to be different in different moments. Be mindful of schools closing or school closings or delays due to weather. Check before you go and follow up promptly to reschedule. So winter, we're in Connecticut. We're all aware of what that's like. The weather in Connecticut, period. It could be winter tomorrow. We never know. So you want to be mindful if you see weather happening, or if you're going to, like, this is more so for programs that aren't necessarily in our roster, but some of our programs require you to go to different schools outside of the Hartford area. If it's not snowing in Hartford, but it might be snowing in Torrington based on, the weather, you want to be mindful of that. So the last thing you want to do is get out of your house and drive somewhere only to, have to deal with issues on the road and then to realize that the school is closed. It helps you. It helps you to not do the unnecessary, and it helps the teachers just, that there's an understanding that they don't necessarily have to say, let me get out of bed to go send this email if we have no school today, just to make sure so it's helpful. We will also be mindful of that, and if there is if we do get correspondence from a teacher or a principal saying there's nothing today or there's a 90-minute delay, something like that, we'll let you know. But for your own benefit, so you are not getting out of your house unnecessarily, be mindful of that and double check for that. Also, you are there for the students primarily, and you are the face of Hartford Performs in these schools when you go to deliver your program. And so we expect our teaching artists to act accordingly. There's a million different scenarios that I could use as an example as to why that's important. But the idea is, no matter what happens, no matter if you feel like a teacher didn't respond to you in the way that you wanted them to, or whatever the case is, this is for the students. And so anything short of what we contract our teaching artists to do in the schools is shorting our students. And so, like Emily mentioned earlier, if there is a situation that makes the space unsafe for you and you don't feel like you can execute your programs the best way possible, you are free to leave, let us know, let them know that you're leaving, and, remove yourself from the situation. But short of that, we want all of our teaching artists to understand that you represent us, and you also represent yourself. So if a teacher has a problem with something that was done or said, they have the right to let us know. And if it's really bad, we have the right to say, you know what, we don't want to continue with this. So you, again, this is a part of your marketing. This is you showcasing who you are. This is you showcasing your integrity. This is you showcasing your honor. And we want you to know that that also reflects on us. So, next slide. Okay, now we will play a little game. Uh, So for this game, we are going to need you to, oh, I'm sorry, did I change the screen? Can you see the screen, Emily?
Yep, I can see the
Okay.
screen.
Sorry, because I moved it to the sound station. Okay, so you can, on your device, whether it's your phone or your laptop, you can scan the QR code up top or go to kahoot.it. And when you are there, put in the game pin 1370810. And when we're all there, I would see it on the screen. Welcome, Peter. Who is 137? Oh, someone put the pin as their name. All good. Um, Waiting for one more person.
Should I try that again with my name?
Oh, that's fine. I'll know it's you.
Okay.
You can if you want though, because we're still waiting for. Is Rebecca here still? I think Rebecca might have stepped away. Okay, nope, Rebecca's here. All right, Enzima, are you going to change that or you want to keep it? Okay. All righty. And this is just 9-question quiz on all that we already discussed. It'll be fun. Thank you, Aisha, for this quiz. Okay, question 1. How much money do schools get per grade level for programming? Is it $25, $2, $12, or $20? Select your answer. You have two answers. Oh, nope, sorry, that's the wrong thing. Peter and Enzima, you have it correct. True or false? Hartford Performs pays for a minimum of 35 students. Got that correct, because the answer is actually how many?
40.
Good job. Okay, true or false? Hartford Performs is responsible for marketing your program. Good job. You are responsible for putting your best foot forward and letting all of our teachers know exactly what you have to offer. True or false? You will receive a booking confirmation email once your program is selected. Perfect. That is true. And if you so happen to not see it, please check your spam folder because that also happens from time to time. Who enters the confirmed program date into the database? Is it Hartford Performs, the site coordinator, the teaching artist, or the lead teacher? Yes, that is correct. You are also responsible for that. True or false? You will receive payment on the day you do your program. Oh, that was quick. That is false. Good job. It how often do payments get processed? Anybody? What was that?
So twice a month.
Yes, correct. Good job. You all are paying attention. When should you know all of your bookings by? Mid-October, late November, end of September, or August? Awesome. Yes, by mid-October, all the bookings should be complete. True or false? The teacher should be the one to initiate contact once your program is selected. Okay, that was a little bit tricky. You are initiating contact. They could email first, but it's up to you to show them that you are going to be communicative and you are on the ball. Final question. On average, how often is there a check run at Hartford Performs? Weekly, monthly, twice a month, every 6 weeks? Good job. We kind of gave that one away, but all good. Thank you all for playing. Rebecca is in third place. Peter is in second, and the winner is Enzima. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you all for playing. All right. So, Emily, you can share your screen again and we will jump back in. All right, so one of the things that we do for our teaching artists is quarterly meetings. They are quarterly, and the first one usually starts in December. These are to help teaching artists stay connected and up to date and in alignment with Hartford Public Schools curriculum. They help build connections with Hartford Performs and other teaching artists. They help you to learn and share best practice in arts education, and they are professional learning opportunities with national partners like the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts and Wolf Trap Institute for Early Learning Through the Arts. Again, there's 4 quarterly meetings held throughout the year, as well as an end of year celebration. Slide, please. So requirements and next steps. You might have already learned about some of this, but there are required documents that we have each of our teaching artists and arts organizations submit. Each person submits to a background check that is run through ClearCheck. So we will submit your email, you will get an email from ClearChecks directly, and then you will input your information there. So you're not sending us your personal information. And we're not seeing your personal information once the report comes through. And this is not a credit check, so nothing gets, there's no inquiry on that for you. There's also mandated reporter training. Connecticut DCF website, it has a 45-minute online training in English, Spanish, and ASL. And then you get a certificate of completion afterwards, which you upload into the database to prove that you received the information and that you took the training. And you also submit a W-9 tax form. Your name on the tax form should match. So if you are an organization or a business, you need to make sure that matches from the W-9 to where the check is made out, and the information that's in our database. The address needs to be accurate and it needs to be signed and dated. Requirements and next steps. You all have already received a document for password reset so that you could access the database. I believe all of you are already in the database. Should you ever have issues getting into the database, you can refer to that password reset document and it will help you to reset your password again, so that you can get in. And then what we're working on now, which the deadline is August 12th, is reviewing the programs. So your programs were loaded into the database with the information that we were given. If all of you are new, so you'll need to go in and there's going to be fields that ask you to like add information or just update information. So you're going to need to go through that, and you will receive an email if you haven't already with like the steps to make sure you get all of that right. But save it, submit it, and make sure you actually select submit. Rebecca, I believe we already had a conversation about this, the difference between saving and copying. So you're already familiar. But if you have any questions, please let me know, because we want to make sure you do it right and that you are all set in the database. All right. That happened quickly. So any questions?
Let's see. I have a question.
Yes.
So, you mentioned off roster opportunities. Is that like something outside, independent, or you said
Do you want me to take that, Emily? Okay, so primarily, especially you're new to Hartford Performs, your primary programs will be the traditional roster program. Every so often, there will be an opportunity through maybe a Hartford Public School or maybe another school where they're selecting a specific kind of programming and they'll be looking for specific artists, specific kinds of artists. And you will have if you fit the bill for the kind of artists and the kind of programs they're looking for, then we will reach out to you to let you know that the opportunity exists, but that will be through Hartford Performs. So the payment information would be the same, where it would be a different setup. And so we would go into that, the ad hoc bookings when that time comes, but it would still be paid out like through us and on the biweekly schedule, as that is already in existence. So yeah, that's not a designated thing. It's not already in place. That's just going to be whenever it comes up. And that's going to be, again, based on the desires of the schools that reach out to us for special programming.
okay.
Let me know if that, okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
I have a couple.
I was like, no. Okay.
All right.
So-
Enzima, you can say your next one, and then Rebecca.
Okay. So, you mentioned background check, that we will receive an email. Would that be something separate from the emails we received, or I need to look back at my emails and search for that?
I don't believe you got that yet.
Oh,
So
okay.
you wouldn't have gotten the background check information just yet. So don't worry about that. When I'll let you know when it's sent out so you can check for it specifically.
Okay. All right.
But again, I don't know that there's like that might be something. Check your spam, check your inbox, type in clear checks if you don't see it. Like once I say it's sent, just search for it in your inbox or your spam. But it'll come directly to you, and it won't be from us. It won't be sent out from Hartford Performs. It'll be sent out by Clear Checks.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Rebecca?
Hi, I have a follow-up question to that. I'm sorry, my Zoom camera just stopped working, so I can't see myself. I'm assuming you can't see me
No,
either.
we
I
can't.
apologize. So my question about the background checks is that we have several museum educators that present our programs. So should we have all of our museum educators that might be presenting programs fill out the clear check?
Do you background check as an organization?
We do something. I know we've had schools ask for this information before, and our HR person has sent something to the schools. I don't know if that will be good, if that will fulfill this or not, but we can have our educators do this. I just want to make sure each person does it if that's necessary.
Okay, great question. Emily, do you wanna or just like the steps for if the organization actually does do background checks and the requirements for that? To like unless sorry, I don't know where my words are. Short of each person getting a background check for the organization.
We've had organizations that have a large number of teaching artists submit a letter or a certificate of insurance, just ensuring, and that can suffice for your organization.
Okay, that's great. I'll follow up with our HR person to make sure we have all of that together. And I should send that to you, to somebody specifically at Hartford Performs.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Rebecca, just out of curiosity, how many people would it involve?
At least 3 of our educators, probably 4 or 5, just because we never, if we schedule somebody and they have an emergency and
Sure.
somebody else has to go in, so maybe 4 or 5.
I will
Yeah, if
say,
it's
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, if it's a small number like that, it would be good to have background checks on all of them. You know, if it's a dozen, then, you know, that's a different story. But 3, 4, 5 people, it would be great to have background checks on all of them, because that is something that we guarantee to the Hartford schools, is that everybody who comes in contact with the students has been
Okay,
background checked.
okay. And so when we get when I get the email from Clear Checks, will I get 4 or 5 of them? Does each
So,
person, or how will that work?
so for that, you would send me their individual email addresses and I'll put them
Okay,
in, and then they will all get them respectively and they can fill them out separately. And
that's
it's going to be the
perfect.
same for the mandated reporter. Any of your staff that has direct contact with the students, they will need to do that as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have one more. I just
Okay,
want to
yeah.
confirm, I'm sorry. I just wanted
Okay.
to confirm that that even though our programs are free, we should follow through with that voucher payment process so that all of the rest of everything happens after, like the evaluation, the confirmation that, we've done the program.
Yes, it
Okay,
helps our data, and it adds it to our calendar so we know when the things are happening. And there's like a whole slew of things outside of payments that it helps us to track. So yes, thank
yeah,
you.
okay.
Anything else?
I had a
Yep.
couple questions just following up on that. As a free program, do you still need a W-9 from our organization?
Oh, that one I do not know. Okay.
No?
No,
Okay.
the answer is no.
Just let me know if that changes, but yeah, that's good to know. The other one was the site coordinator. I just wanted to double check. Is that someone we need to proactively check in with or anything when we are there doing a program or follow up with afterwards? Or is that whole process you described of confirmation fully automated? They just get a little notice that they need to check something and they take care of it on their end, or we need to go find them once our program is done?
Once your program is done, you don't have to find that'll be up to you in the moment if there's something you need to check in with them. But all of your correspondences like start the moment they book you. So you're going to want to be in contact with them up until that moment. So even if you're going into the school, getting to the school, so they know that you're there. Sometimes there's like a substitute teacher
Yeah.
situation. Yeah, I'm sure you know this. So yeah, you're gonna want to basically however much you need to correspond with them up to the program, and then after if you would like to, or if they want to talk to you afterwards, they'll find you. But yeah, it's just whatever makes the program flow and whatever makes you comfortable and what makes them comfortable.
Okay, great. Thank you.
In
Another
terms of,
question.
well, I'm sorry,
Yes.
just to follow up, in terms of the payment process, that is automated. So as soon as you hit submit, it sends an email to them and they get it. So you don't need to check in or anything.
Thank you, Emily. And Zima?
For the average, I'm looking at the roster and I'm looking at the going rate per class. And I'm like, okay, so how do one pick 5, 10, dollars and would you get picked if you like, I'm $10 or and everybody said,
Okay, no, that's a really good question. So you pick whatever you feel like you need to pick based on what you're offering. But we've noticed, like Emily mentioned when she was talking about the teacher selection process, we noticed that, again, they only have $20, so they're trying to get more bang for their buck. We've had teaching artists set their programs at $5 and they get the most bookings because a teacher can say, okay, I'm going to get that, and I can get 3 other programs or 2 other programs at this rate. So there are teaching artists that get severely booked based on being accessible in that way, because our teachers, they're excited about this programming. They're excited to bring these opportunities to their students, and the better you market yourself, the more excited they are for your program. So the difference between a $10 and a $5 program could be the difference between getting more bookings and less bookings. So again, we don't dictate what you set your program as, but as far as marketing yourself, that's a part of it. You decide how much you want to set it at. So if if you think that it will give you a better shot to get more, if you want a lot of bookings and you think it'll give you a better shot at getting selected more, to set it at $5, that's gonna increase your odds in the way that the teachers have been selecting. But there's nothing against setting your $10 price at all. So that's just gonna be based on you, basically.
Okay, all right.
Good question.
Yeah.
Mhm. Anything else?
No, I think you pretty much answered it. I mean, I was thinking of also, I noticed in the tutorial, there were, like, for the example, someone had like, I think it was like elementary to like 5th grade, and then it was like 6th to 8th grade. And so I was just wondering if you wanted to expand your range, or is that something you had to do prior, or something you could do now on your edits?
So, based on what you've already submitted for your programming for this school year, it would be the same just for the school year. But if you wanted to open it up, let's say you have one kind of program and you really liked how it worked with this grade level, and you've already worked with a certain grade level that you didn't select, and you feel comfortable duplicating that program and kind of designate it for a higher age group, that's a conversation that we could have. Also, if you wanted to like introduce a new program, you could do the interest form again. Just even though you're already on our roster, you just be letting us know that you have another idea for a program and would it fit. So yeah, like after this, and I believe that opens up. Actually, I think it's open now. It's just we designate and differentiate by school year. But if you have an idea for a program that you wanted to put on the interest form now, that would come up for review next year around this time, or before this time, actually. But yeah, so it's open. But the idea now is that now that you're in the roster, you want to see how your programs go and see what else you have to offer, and then have that communication with us, and we'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? This is really good. Usually there's like no questions, and then someone like remembers 3 days later and sends an email, but y'all are on point. Um, yes, so if there's nothing else, and we're right at 4 o'clock, so if there's nothing else, we will let you go. Thank you for your time.